The reason that I am where I am from where I started is because I had complete faith that something would work in my favor. Something was meant for me and it was going to be great.
Hello, amazing humans, and welcome to episode number 287 of the Game On Girlfriend podcast. Did you know that there is a monumental shift in wealth that is coming within the next 20 years? Like, huge. You may have heard whisperings about this, but the cool part about this massive transfer of wealth that's about to happen as the baby boomer generation passes away and transfers their wealth onto their children, two things are going to happen. One is there's going to be more money in the hands of women than there's ever been in the history of the planet. Amazing. And two, because of that transfer, the gap between the classes, right? So the wealthy and the poor is actually going to increase as well. And so this presents us with a really extraordinary conversation. And as someone whose motto is, I put more money in the hands of more women, this is a good one. And I'm so excited for today's podcast episode because I am speaking with Chelsea Williams. Now, she is one of the most amazing humans I've met. I just have to be really honest with you about that. I think you're going to fall in love with her in this episode. She has spent her entire life working as an accountant, right? Not on purpose. She sort of fell into the industry and understanding not only how money works and what's happening as money becomes more feminine, but also the power that we are going to wield over the next 20 years to decide how that massive gap in the classes is addressed, and also what we as women choose to do with that massive amount of wealth. And it is truly a conversation about how the future of wealth is feminine. And now is the time for us to prepare for that, not only in becoming as financially literate as you can possibly become, but also how do you want to invest? What causes matter most to you? How do you want to move that money through the planet? Because as we all know, money doesn't actually come in and go out. It just continues to cycle. How do you want to play with that cycle as the money comes to you? With over a decade of working with entrepreneurs and individuals and their money, Chelsea Williams has come to understand that it's always and never about the money. So she's on a mission to splash some color around this very black and white topic. School never taught us about money, and yet we use it every single day. Financial clarity can be the one thing that shatters glass ceilings. You're going to maybe want to take notes on this one. I want you to really sort of extend your mind about what you think is going to be possible for you and your own financial future as you pop in your earphones and listen to this conversation with me and Chelsea. Chelsea, welcome to the Game On Girlfriend podcast. You are just bringing a topic that is so near and dear to my heart. Let's talk dollars. Welcome.
Let's do it. I'm so excited to be here and I love the mission of your podcast.
Aw, thank you. Well, I love what you're up to too, sister. Let's talk about women and wealth today. I'm like on the edge of my seat. Cannot wait to hear all your wisdom.
Let's do it.
Oh, so good. And before we jump in, though, I want to just give you an opportunity to share, with all of us. Like, it's pretty clear there's a lot that you could have done with your life. You're no dummy. You're no slouch. There's a lot going on for Chelsea over here. And out of all of the things that you could have done here on planet Earth with us, why is this what you have chosen to do with your life?
I'll be honest, this is not what I saw as me doing something with my life. The reason that I am where I am from where I started is because I had complete faith that something would work in my favor. Something was meant for me and it was going to be great. And I was really confused in the beginning because where I started was discovering accounting by accident. I was going to college for healthcare administration because that's what my generation was told to do. They needed us to take care of the baby boomers. So they funneled us all into healthcare. So I was like, okay, I'll go do this. And my second semester, I had this accounting course on my class listing. And I'm like, what the heck is that? I don't even know what that is. And so I started asking around, and that made me a little worried because everybody seemed to hate it and even have to change their career path because they couldn't pass it. I'm like, ugh, okay, fine, I'll try this.
Huh.
Well, I'm glad I did because that is when I realized that the nature of accounting just clicked with some part of my brain naturally. It was effortless. It came so just naturally to me. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, okay, if this is a natural skill set of mine, I'm going to just run with it and see what
Mhm.
happens. And it was confusing because when you think of an accountant or a CPA, even Tony Robbins and Gary Vee have been on camera saying they lead miserable lives. They're just so miserable and boring, and I hate talking to them. I'm like, okay, universe, what do you have for me? Because I am not
Yes.
miserable and boring. And
Not at
so,
all. Yeah.
oh, the journey took me through two specific positions that I worked before I started my own accounting and fractional CFO company, which is where it started to make sense. Yes, I started as an accountant, but it has completely blossomed into the Money Whisperer, the label that I hold today. Because yes, my brain is very type A, and that's why I click with accounting. But I also have this other side that is
Mm.
so creative, so colorful. And so I call it splashing color on a black and white topic of money.
Ooh, I love that visual. That's so cool.
Yes. Yeah. And it's needed. It's very needed. And so I find a lot of fulfillment in it. And especially when it comes to working with women at this point in history.
Mm. So much, I feel like so much is shifting right now. Do you feel that way as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a fact. Things are shifting. There's
Yeah.
something huge coming. And as women, we need to prepare ourselves for the opportunity because it's coming. It's
And
a
when you
matter
say
of,
something huge is coming, what do you think is coming? Like, what do you feel that biggest part of the shift is for us?
so there is, it's already starting to happen, but over the next 20 years, we are going to see the greatest wealth transfer in history. And what that looks like is the baby boomers that they sent me to healthcare and college for
Yes.
are going to start passing away.
Hmm.
And their wealth is going to be passed down to their kids, their relatives. And a majority of that wealth is slated to go to women.
Hmm.
It's going to give us the opportunity to position ourselves in a way that we have never been positioned before.
Oh,
And
me
only
too.
50 years after being fully integrated into what I call the financial algorithm.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So first of all, yes, I have heard whisperings of this, and I'm so stinking excited. I might die dead. But here's the thing that I love about this is I really believe that women are the political scientists, right? We're the ones, like if we're going to go back to cave times, right? Like we're the ones creating community, creating life, making it work, having things function. And the men were like way out of the way hunting, like go away. We're dealing with life over here, right? Like, yeah, go bring us food. That's great. But we're dealing with life over here. And I think we are so good at that like I am so excited to see what happens as this wealth transfer begins and what starts to happen in society as women get more and more control over this incredible wealth that's being transferred. And I think, one of the reasons I was really excited to talk to you, Chelsea, is this idea that there's a financial algorithm and that we really weren't part of it. And I'm going to guess, and then you can be like, Sarah Walton, you're so wrong. But I'm going to guess that part of that had to do with us being able to get credit cards by ourselves and getting mortgages by ourselves and all those things that happened. I'm now 50 around my birthday, right? Like all those things that really started to, like that they finally opened up to the rest of us called women. Do I have that right? Or is there something more to this algorithm?
That is part of it, yes. And I don't know if anybody else uses that term. That's how I started talking about it, because if you
Mm,
think about any of your social platforms, let's talk Facebook, TikTok, any of that.
right.
The algorithm is what takes what you give to it and it serves you more of what you give to it.
Yes. Ooh, I see where we're
Right.
going.
So if
Yes.
you like a post about plants and how to take care of plants and develop your green thumb, you're going to start getting more reels about plants and how to take care of them, right? The history of finance has that same type of algorithm. And
Mm,
for the first
mm,
1,000 years that algorithm was being developed, it was being given white men who own property.
correct.
That is what we were feeding the financial algorithm. Therefore, that is what banks were looking for.
Got it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so what has happened, and were nowhere in this algorithm at all. In fact, we were listed on the asset section of the man's application. We were literally an asset. They owned us. We had nothing of our own.
Sorry. The truth of that, sometimes every once in a while it hits me and I'm like, oh my God. Okay. I digress. Go ahead, Chelsea. Sorry. That was so important.
No, you're right for that. Like just let this, and this is why I like to zoom out and help women understand the entirety of what this means. We have only been considered in that algorithm for 1% of its existence.
Jeez. Oh my God.
1%. We have not even scratched the surface. It wasn't until 50 years ago where we even had the opportunity to become financially independent.
Right.
We just celebrated 50 years of women being able to open their own credit cards. Because even when they started letting us in the algorithm, we had to have male cosigners.
Right.
Right. Now, the inspiration here that I want women to hear in 1% of the financial algorithm's life, women have covered so much ground.
It's great. Okay.
You know, we talk about the wage gap, and yes, there is a gap there.
Yes.
But if you consider the fact that we've only been here for 1% of its life, and that wage gap is and it's been improving. And to be honest, the rest of the wage gap is up to us. And here's what I mean by that. Here's what we can do now that we know we are new at this. We just entered the arena. We can take our power. We don't have to ask for it anymore.
Oh, I love that.
And when it comes to the wage gap, to me, what I see there is a great reflection of our weakness. And it's not a bad thing. It just is a thing. Women are not great at speaking up for themselves, asserting themselves, and negotiating their worth. And it's for the same reasons. And I say that to give us all and everybody that's listening grace. This is not a bad thing. This is not a thing to shame yourself about. It's what you can know as fact so that you can let go of the shame and guilt and step into your power and learn things like the art of negotiation.
So what I'm hearing, if I can translate, because I want to make sure I'm following exactly, right, is the skills that will help close the gap were not taught to us. We were left out of that conversation. Is that fair to say? Like, it just wasn't, we were on the list of assets, right? We weren't on the list of participants. So why would we be taught those? And it's almost like, well, nobody needs to know that over there because they're on the asset list. And so now that we're not, right? It's a really beautiful time for us to actually just learn skills. It's just skills. And I love what you're saying about shame and guilt. There's no shame or guilt there. It's just skills. And I always love saying things, Chelsea. I'd love to know what you think of this because I'm always like, you guys, it's like fourth grade math. There's nothing here that's that hard, right? And it goes with negotiating. And I actually think it is very similar for negotiating because we as women are so good. We're so good at understanding what's going on for someone else. And I actually think that makes us better at negotiating when we let ourselves be who we are. And we start with, well, what do you need? Because that opens a door so much faster than I'm fantastic. It's like everybody's like, yeah, you and the 89,000 other people in the room. But like, how about you start with what do you need? I'll get that for you and just watch what happens. But I love what you're saying about us just not being afraid to learn this skill. Am I getting that basic tenet there is no guilt and shame, but rather skill building.
Yeah. And I truly mean that because when women go out and try to understand money for the first time or start practicing on how to negotiate, you're going to, anytime you do something different to challenge yourself, you're going to have these feelings of doubt.
Sure.
Right. But what I need women to hear is that not only did nobody teach you, you have generational patterns ingrained into your DNA. what you are doing is so ingrained into you, your mother, your grandmother, your great grandmother. We have been in this position for many years. So the path is not going to be easy, but you are fully capable. And I love what you said about, we come to the table and we're like, what do you need? Because the answer is in our inherent divine feminine. We don't have to emulate the man to get to where we want to be. There's a reason why there's yin and yang. Let the man be the man. And even though that dynamic looks different in an environment where women have this type of empowerment, and that's something we have to balance out over time, but you don't have to pretend like something that you're not.
I love it. Please say that again. Just for the people in the back or the people working out right now. Say it again.
You do not have to pretend like someone you are not.
Thank you. Thank you. And there's so much missing, I think, in the strength of what you just said. Like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this, because it's like, I feel like we have so much strength, right? As women, like I just said, like our intuition is to say, well, what do you need? Right. And that's, like I said, we're the social scientists, right? The political scientists. We're the ones out there making things work. And the way that we approach problems, which is a negotiation, right? Like, how do we all get to a winning place? The way that we do that is so natural for us. And I think, I'd love to know your thoughts on this, but I think like one of the ways we've really messed it up, to be honest, is we have tried to be like the men as opposed to letting our natural strengths come through. What do you think? Do I have that right? Thoughts, objections?
Yeah, yes, you do. I mean, I think the impact that women are making in these spaces is beautiful. We are built to multiply whatever you give us. And this has been shown improvement and proven in corporate environments. When there are women leading teams and companies, everybody benefits.
Yes.
Everybody, because we are inherent givers and nurturers and cultivators. And yes, part of the 1 to 2 generations that came before us thought they had to emulate the man to get a seat at that table. And I am guilty of this.
Me too. I think I've done it too. Yeah.
In order to, because my space, my industry is still male dominated. The finance and the legal industry are notoriously behind the curve in terms of female to male counterparts. So at one point in my career, I started to emulate a more masculine energy just to hang. And like, look, it worked for some of us, but it did not serve us in the long run. I feel like it's one of those things that the women at the forefront almost had to do just to shatter that ceiling for the rest of us.
I think that's right. I have to be really honest with you. I think there's something in that there's also inherent safety too, right? If you're one of the bros, you're safer. And I do think there is some like innate wisdom in that. I don't think we need it now. And I don't know how else we would have done it, to be honest. Like, it's so easy for all of us to look back and go, it'd be great if you guys had da-da-da. We don't know. But I do think that in order to get in the door, they had to do what they had to do to get in the door, and they did. And now I think we really have this extraordinary level of privilege, opportunity, timing, that we're the generation that gets to come in and say, thank you. And let's do this a completely different way now. Because I think that's how we're going to enhance the industry. I really do. As far as like finances and women is like, we're just going to, I mean, wouldn't it be so powerful? Aren't women so good with money? Like, can we just be honest about that for a second? I'd love to know what you think about that. But like, I think women, all the women I know who are doing really well in business, they work with me, whatever, they're really good with money.
Yes, the women that equip themselves with financial literacy and have money do so good by it. There's a book, The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist.
It's one of my favorites.
And she outlines this idea in her book, like money in the hands of women benefits everybody. We are not stingy or selfish or self-serving with our money. And that's exactly why, before this great wealth transfer really starts to hit, let's really dial in. Like, let's lock in here and make sure that not only are we ready for it, but we do right by it. And when I say that, what I mean is share it. Because here's another hard truth about this wealth transfer. The wealthy are going to be giving their money to their children for the most part. What that is going to do is further widen the gap of the wealthy and the lower class. Okay.
Got it.
So what we need to do is make sure that we are giving back and lifting up and supporting other women. And now we're coming off of a culture, and I do feel like we're coming away from it, of especially in the days of women have to fight each other throat to throat for a corporate seat. There was this stigma that's fading off, and I'm so glad about it, where women were pitted against women.
Right.
It was almost like a strategy.
There's only one seat for a woman.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
But we are getting over that.
Thank God.
And we need to. It was never right to begin with. It was incredibly damaging. But we need to support other women intentionally with not only our money, but our time and our words.
I love that. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I really, really couldn't. And I think this is why what you're doing is so important, because the financial literacy piece is just such a big deal. It's such a big deal because, like we were just joking about, it's like fourth grade math, right? There's nothing you're going to learn in financial literacy where you're like, what? No calculus is involved, no chemistry. I hated chemistry. Like there's nothing like that involved at all, right? At all. Like,
and we have
really
Excel, so
good.
like all you need is algebra. You're good.
It's so true too. I know. I love me some spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. I go nuts. But I'm like the one that all my friends are like, hey, do you have another one of those budget spreadsheets? I'm like, yeah. I'll send you one. Like I get so excited. It's just so cool. And so Chelsea, I really appreciate what you're saying about this is a new era for us to come in and do this. Not only are we going to watch the actual physical transfer, right? But there's an emotional, intellectual, sociological transfer that's going to be happening as well. And we can actually really participate in that and make a really significant impact.
Yes.
Yeah. And as you are preparing for this, I would love to know, you guys shouldn't know I was going to ask her this. So Chelsea, what do you want women to know the most, like about this? Like, what do you feel like is the most important thing for us to know as we're coming up against this really exciting time, this complete, like, I don't want to say Wild West, but a new frontier, right? For us to do this. What do you want us to know? Like, what do you really think is important?
I want us to understand how to exponentially compound our abundance. Not only financially. So yes, understand investments and making sound financial decisions and cultivating wealth and building wealth and sharing it and all of those things, but also in how we look out for each other. If you are one of those people that is positioned to inherit this wealth, be wise with it and learn financial literacy so that you can do that, but also let it free up your peace of mind so that you can get involved with bringing other women up along with you.
Okay, I love this. And how would you recommend, or what do you like to do to bring other women along with you?
So I have, part of my story, before I was 20 and found myself pregnant, which was the paradigm shift in my life. That's when I decided I was going to make something of myself, because quite frankly, before that moment of me looking at the pregnancy test, I did not see enough in myself to want to live or have anything to work for in myself. I couldn't find any of that. Shortly before I got pregnant, I was in a domestic violence relationship. And when I finally walked away, so first of all, my whole heart and compassion goes out to women who find themselves in those situations, all of it, all of my understanding. And it's one of those situations where until you decide for yourself that you are done, you have to let it play its course. And when I decided that, I left my apartment, left my car, left all my things, and went to a women's shelter. It was a secret location. Nobody knew we were there. Their job was to protect us and to help us get back on our feet.
Right.
So for me, and part of what I really want to encourage other women to do is support organizations like this, organizations who are helping women that need to establish not only their life, but their mental, like rebuild their confidence to reestablish what reality could be for them. And so one of the projects that I'm working on is, this whole wealth transfer is based off baby boomers passing away.
Right.
Well, when I was going to college because they told us to take care of the baby boomers, people were erecting tons of these nursing homes to accommodate the baby boomers, right? Now, as they pass away, these nursing homes are going to become vacant.
Mm.
And so I'm working on getting the right people and the right plans so that when that happens, we purchase these buildings, make them into community living spaces for single mothers, offer education, offer financial literacy, offer daycare, give them a stress-free environment where they can begin to thrive again.
Oh my God, I have head to toe chills. I know. Oh my God, that is. Oh yes, just please, yes. Like, oh my God,
But we
that is
have to
so
reach
incredible.
back.
Yeah.
We
Oh.
have to.
Oh my God.
We have to, because
Yeah.
the same things that I did when I was 20 to 26 years old, the hustle, the grind, and I made it. If
Yeah.
I was a 20-year-old single mom today in this economy, I couldn't do it.
There's nothing you
We
can do. I
have
know.
to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's brutal out there right now. It is. It's everything's shifted. I think you're absolutely, that's just a fact. And so as you're doing this, Chelsea, I think this is just, I'm so excited about this. Like I've had to toe chills. I think this is incredible. If someone's listening right now and they're like, I want in on that, or I want to help with that, is there a way that people can reach out to you to support this effort?
Yes, if you just go to our website, moneymastery.work,
Okay.
sign up for our newsletter. You can hit like submit a question or something like that and let me know that you're interested in becoming part of the solution and stay up to date on all the happenings.
Oh my gosh. Yes, 110% yes. I mean, that link, you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, it's underneath this video. If you're listening in, it's going to be in the show notes for you to be able to learn more about that and understand. But Chelsea, I just want to take a second and say, I teach people all the time, like you can make a business out of anything. Because I really believe you can, as long as, you give it away, you're like sharing it and it's like, you're totally aligned with what you're here to do and taking all your experiences, which is what you did. You took all your experiences and you're like, what causes am I going to just dive into here? And I think your story is just such a beautiful illustration of what happens. One, when we decide to take care of ourselves. And two, when we look around and say, how do we pay this forward? I'm just in awe of what you're doing. And I just want to personally say thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And also for showing us the power of money and why it is so, my motto is to put more money in the hands of more women. Right. And the power of that and what we do when we have it is so different. Talk about an algorithm. It's so different from what money has been used for up until now.
It has the potential to change everything. If we stick with who we are at a divine level and lean into our strengths and practice our weaknesses while being true to our feminine, this could shift everything.
I would love to know, can we play a game? Like a little bit of
Let's play a game.
Forward game. I would love to know, because in your brilliant mind, all the things that you've seen, all the things you've experienced, all the conversations you get to have on a daily basis with all the extraordinary humans you work with, what would you love to see happen as this shift occurs? Like what changes? I mean, what you're doing is amazing. Is there anything else that you're like, oh, I've heard whisperings, or I know people are up to this, just to inspire the listeners to be like, oh, I didn't even think about that. That would be cool. Is there anything that you've heard a buzz about or you're excited about to watch, or any other causes that you think are going to be really addressed?
I think it's going to be a lot of what's already being shown. If you look hard enough, it's happening, but it's going to happen to an entirely different level. And that is women being in more positions of leadership,
Mm.
which creates abundance for the people that they're leading. It's going to create a mindset shift, a sense of security, a sense of nurturing. It's going to be the glue that can bring the people together, that can bring the consciousness into a much more trusting state. And you're going to see efforts like the one I'm putting together pop up. You're going to see underprivileged groups of people be supported, be helped, and thrive. And it's going to multiply. It's going to multiply. Like, just like we have had generations holding us back. Now, imagine that curve in the opposite direction. And furthermore, think about the fact that we've only been part of this algorithm for 1%. Just look 2 lifetimes down it. If it looked like this, it's going to substantially shoot.
We do have an exponential there. I mean, if history repeats itself, there's an exponential shift that is totally possible, like for real, not in theory.
Yes, yes. And the one thing that I have to add, so I'm writing a book. My first book is going to be on all of this for women. My second book is going to be for men, because in light of what we have now, and especially in what is coming for women and the independence and the empowerment, we cannot forget about men. Men are facing their own internal struggles right now that not a lot of people are talking about. And so that's another way that we have to do it the right way. For example, we can't get this wealth and turn around and emulate the man and do the same thing and oppress him and hold him back and all of those things. We would be hypocrites, and women are better than that. So while all of this is going on, we have to do it the right way, and we cannot forget men are trying to find a new place.
Yeah. You know, I'm sorry, I jumped into the with that real quick because I've been having this conversation with so many of my girlfriends lately of just how much work, I'm going to be really straight. I'm just going to bluntly say about how much work I think men are up against right now. And it's going to be a lot of internal healing for them. And thank you for the work you're doing, because I have stated personally, I would like for other men to help the other men heal so that we are all coming at this together, because we as women, because we are the nurturers, we are the ones who take care. I don't want to have to take care of that too. And I think this is such a beautiful opportunity for men to help each other.
Yes.
And thank you for, of course, for extraordinary humans like you who are like, I'm going to do it anyway. Like, God bless. I think that's so wonderful. And I think we're all sensing this is coming. I mean, not only is the future of wealth feminine, which it absolutely is, but the growth of men is imperative. It's just not, the human species depends on it, right? Because if like, we were really, really getting, I can't believe you brought that up. I literally was like, I had to bite my tongue because I was like, has she been listening in on all my conversations? Because we're like, we're all making our own money. We know so much. We've all worked so hard to heal. I mean, look at what you went through, and like, talk about bootstraps. Good heavens, right? Going into accounting when everyone was like, that's stupid, no one can graduate. You're like, watch me. Like, all the stuff you did to heal, and now you're paying that forward. All the stuff I've done to heal inside of, being raised in such a patriarchal religion and all those things, being, now it's like not like that. We need them to like come with us, or there's no us. Right. And I don't know how else to say that. And I think it's so important that does get addressed. And I'm really grateful to women like you who are willing to go into that space and do it, because it is going to be critical. And there's only been one man on the Game On Girlfriend podcast, and it's a man who's helping other men heal. And that was why we invited him on, because I'm like, you're so critical. You are critical to having this work. And so I just really want to acknowledge you for that, Chelsea, because you just hat tipped. Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, it's important. And there's a balance. There's a balance in everything. And that is also part of our duty, is to maintain that balance.
I love it. I love it. Well, Chelsea, thank you so much for spending time with the girlfriends today. I really appreciate you. I so am in love with your work. I'm in love with what you're doing. We know we have people can come and find you on the website and keep track of your projects and what's going on. If somebody wants to talk to you more about accounting and what you do, will they reach you in the same place, or is there somewhere else they should go?
Yep, it's all on one website for ease.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, really, for everything that you're doing. I so appreciate you. And thank you for being here with us.
You're welcome. I'm grateful to have had this conversation with you.